Very good morning, dear students. I am Mrs. Aparna Sawan. Today we will start with the next lesson, that is lesson number 9, heat. Students, if you remember, in the 6th standard we have studied the substances, their states and properties, right? In that lesson we have studied how the substances changes their state from one state to the another by gaining or losing the heat, right? On gaining or on losing the heat, substances can change their state from solid to liquid, liquid to gaseous, and vice versa, from gaseous to liquid and liquid to the solid, right? So in this lesson we will study what is this heat exactly and how the it is getting transferred to the substances. Students, if you observe that in house also we use various things which are related to the heat. In the first picture itself you can observe that the milk and a cooker, pressure cooker, is kept on the stove. You can see this in your home also, that your mummy is using stove where you can see the fire for the cooking purpose. While cooking, the food stuffs are getting a heat, right? How they are getting heat, that we will see. In the next picture you can see that the ice cubes are kept inside the glass and outside the water droplets are there, right? In the next picture you can see a pond is there in which animal is also there, right? And what what are the effects of the heat on this water also, that we will see. And in the last picture you can see that the people are sitting near the bonfire or a campfire where they are trying to make their bodies warm. Yes, student, we are also doing this many a times in the winter season. We light the bonfire or a campfire to keep ourselves warm, right? Now, why have you ever think that how we are getting this heat without touching the fire? Yes, here also we are not touching the fire. Even in the pond also, especially in the afternoon time or in the summer time, if you keep your foot or your hand inside the water, you can feel the warmth, or you can say that the water has become hot. How it has become hot? Because it gains the heat from the sunlight, right? In case of a cooking, the foodstuffs gains the heat from the fire. But how they are getting a heat and what is this heat exactly, that we will study. Now first understand what is a heat. Heat is a form of energy. Students, we have studied the various types of energy: frictional energy, right? Then the So students, we have studied about the energies also. There are various forms of energy like mechanical energy, potential energy, heat energy, light energy, sound energy, chemical energy, right? So what is heat energy? The earth receives heat in proper quantities from the sun. That is how an atmosphere temperature favorable to the living world is maintained. Heat is a form of energy and sunlight is the main source of a heat energy. Right, students? So, and how this heat can be flow? Heat can flow from one place to another, which is called as a transfer of heat. Transfer of heat means what, students? When heat is going to transfer from one place to the another place, or flow from one place to another place. Heat can be produced due to the friction. Students, to understand it, you can try one thing. Simply you can rub your palms against each other. You can rub your hands against each other and put your hands on your cheeks. What you will feel? You will feel a warmth in your hand. How it happens, students? Because when we are rubbing our palms on each other, the frictional force takes place, and due to that the heat energy gets formed. Students, have you ever thought that how the heat from the sun reach to the earth? And when we are just cooking a food, after certain time it becomes cold, right? So where does the heat goes? Have you ever thought about it? Students, what happens in this case is also we will going to study. Now when we take a hot object in the vicinity of a cold one, now what happens when we take a hot object in the surroundings of the cold one, the cold object becomes warm and the hot one becomes cooler. In case of a food, as I said, if we just stop the flame of the gas, and after some times what happens, the foodstuffs becomes cold. Why it happens? Because it the heat gets transferred from hot to the cold atmosphere. From this, what we can understand that, or what we can conclude, that heat is transferred from a hot body to the colder body, and transfer of a heat means the flow of heat from one place to the another place. Now we will study how the transfer of heat takes place due to the by using the various modes. Students, we have studied transfer of heat means the flow of heat from one place to another. Now we will study how the flow of heat takes place. The flow of a heat or the transfer of heat takes place in three modes. There are three modes: conduction, convection and radiation. First, we will study what is conduction. Transfer of heat from a hot part of a solid substance to its cold part is called conduction. For conduction of heat, medium is required. It means heat cannot be conducted in vacuum. Conduction of heat takes place in a solid substances. Students, to understand the conduction, I will give you a simple example. While cooking a food at home, sometimes your mummy forgets the ladder or a spoon inside. In that case, what happens? The heat, even though the entire spoon is not dipped inside the hot pan, what happens? After certain time, the entire spoon or a ladder becomes hot. If you try to touch it, the end part which is not inserted the hot water or a hot pan also becomes hot. Why it happens? Because in this case a conduction of a heat takes place. So how the conduction means, how the transfer of heat takes place? The part of the spoon which is inserted into the milk or a water or any foodstuff which is hot, it gains the heat from that part and transfer to the entire spoon. So that is a conduction of a heat. So for this process, the medium is required. Now in this case, what is a medium? The steel ladder spoon or a copper spoon can be a medium. So all those particles or of the spoon are the medium. And what I explained, that the conduction of a heat does not takes place into the vacuum. Vacuum means what? Where there is no air also, that place is called as a vacuum. So in vacuum, conduction of a heat does not takes place. So students, how we get the heat from sun? We all know that in this space there is certain place where there is no air found, there is a vacuum. Then though there is a vacuum, we received a heat, means the transfer of heat takes place from sun to the earth. So that in that place, in that case, the mode of heat transfer is different, and conduction of heat takes place in the solid substances. Conduction of heat does not take place in a liquid or a gaseous substances. Students, to understand this conduction, we will study one simple experiment. Here students, you can see one simple experiment is performed. We have taken a tripod, burner, then three metal strips or bars. These three metal bars are made up of stainless steel, aluminium and a copper. And then on that bars we have made a spots of the wax, and in that wax we kept a pins which are upright, okay. And then we will observe what will happen to the wax and the pins after gaining a heat. Students, we have studied the properties of the metals, that metal is a good conductor of a heat, and all the metals shows the various ways whether it is a good conductor or a bad conductor, but every metal is a conductor of a heat. Hence we are using this metal bars like stainless steel, aluminium and a copper. So in this experiment, what we can observe that after gaining a heat, which pins will start following first. So if we perform this experiment, students, what will happen? After certain time period, the wax pot which are near to the burner will start falling. In that also, which will fall first? The bar which is copper bar. The pins on the copper bar will start falling first. Why it happens? Because every metal has a different properties. So copper is a very good conductor of a heat as well as electricity. So it will start gaining a heat very fast than the stainless steel and the aluminium, and hence the pins will start following on the copper bar first, and then stainless steel, and then aluminium bars. One by one you can observe that the pins which are near to the burner will fall first, and then which are far from the burner will start following after certain time period. So what we can understand from this, student, that the heat flows from the one part which is a hot part to the cold part, though the other ends of the bars are not directly in a contact with the heat, then also heat gets transferred to that end. How it possible? Because of the conduction. So what we can understand from that, that the transfer of heat from the hot part of an object to the cold part, and this is called as a conduction. Student, now let's study the second mode of heat transmission, which is called as a convection. Now the convection of heat takes place in the liquids. When the heat is transferred by means of convection in liquids, this process is called as a convection of heat transfer. So heat is transferred by means of currents. Currents means, students, when the water is flowing in the upward to the downward direction in like a streams like structure is called as a currents. So heat is transferred by means of currents called convection currents. This process is called as a convection of heat. Now let's understand it by one small experiment. Here, student, to understand how does the transfer of heat takes place through a liquid, we can study this small experiment, convection of a heat. To perform this experiment, we need to take a beaker, potassium permanganate, a burner, a water, and a tripod or a stand. So first we will lead the burner, and with the help of a stand we will place a beaker in which a water is poured, and in the water crystals of potassium permanganate has kept. So after certain time, students, what we will observe that the streams or the currents of water going upward and the downward direction, because of the color of a potassium permanganate, magenta color, we can observe those currents or the streams of the water which is going up and down. Why it happens, students? When we start the burner, the bottom side of the water starts getting the heat, means it starts becoming a warm, and as it starts becoming a warm, its density gets decreases, and as the density gets decreases, it will go to the upside, and the cold water of the beaker which has a more density will come down. Okay, and hence it shows the currents or the streams which is going up and down till entire water becomes hot. As a result, it moves upward and replaced by cold water coming from above. In this manner, heat is transferred by means of currents called convection currents, and this process is called as a convection of a heat. So for performing this experiment, we use beaker, potassium permanganate, crystals, burner, water, and with the help of a potassium permanganate color, we can observe the streams or the currents which are going from up and down, and we can understand how the heat takes transfer in the liquid by replacing or by forming the currents, and this method of transferring of heat is called as a convection of heat. So from these students, what we can understand that convection can occur in liquid, but it is occur as well as in the gaseous substances also. So the medium is what here, liquid and gases. So convection also needs medium like liquid and a gaseous substances. Students, let's study the relation between density and a convection. To understand about it, we will perform one small experiment. To perform this experiment, we will require a test tube holder, then a test tube, a piece of ice, wire gauze, a burner and a candle. Now to perform this experiment, we will start the we will fill the test tube with the water first, and we will start the burner. Inside the test tube, we will place a ice cube which is wrapped in a wire gauze so that it will remain its temperature. And then we will hold a test tube in such a way that the upper part of a test tube will get the heat. So what we can observe in this, as the upper part of water becomes warm, it decreases its density, and due to the ice, the lower part of the water does not become warm and hence its density is more. So the water which is at the upper side will not go down, it will not form the streams, and hence it will not create a convection of the heat in the water. So this is the relation between the density and the convection. If there is a less density in the water of the upper part, it cannot flow the heat in the water which is at the down part. Why? Because it cannot create the currents, or because of the less in or decreased in the densities, and it cannot sink and process of convection does not takes place. Students, the third type of mode of heat transmission is a radiation. Students, many a times you observe that if you sit near the bonfire, though you did not touch the fire, we can make ourselves warm. Why it happens? Because the heat can be transferred through the electromagnetic waves also, and this transfer of mode of heat is called as a radiation. So transfer of heat by means of electromagnetic waves is called radiation. And here, as I said, it does not require a solid or a liquid medium. It can be transferred through the electromagnetic waves. In space and vacuum, heat is transferred by radiation. Students, I explained that due to the conduction or convection, heat cannot be transferred in a vacuum. Those two modes of transfer of heat requires a medium. But in case of a radiation, it does not require a medium. So in the space and a vacuum, heat is transferred by the radiation. So students, the sunlight which we are getting heat from sun through the radiation. As in the space there is no air, there is vacuum, so in from the space and in vacuum which we get a heat from sun, it's transferred through the radiation mode of heat transfer. To understand it, you can see this picture, we all have observed it. You can try it at home also. If any hot substance is cooking on the stove, without touching to the vessel, if you keep your hand nearby that vessel, you can feel the warmth. Why you can feel that warmth? Because heat is transferred with the help of electromagnetic waves. So to understand it, we can also perform a experiment. We can take a candle, light a candle and stand it upright. Hold your hands on its two sides at some distance from the candle. Bring them closer, and what you can feel that your hands, your palm will become a warm. Same thing as I told, instead of taking a candle, simply when your mummy is cooking a food on the stove, without touching to the vessel, you keep some distance and hold your hands nearby that vessel. What you will get? You will start it feeling a warmth, means you will feel a heat. So the heat is transferred with the help of electromagnetic waves without the medium. So this is a mode of heat which is called as a transmission. So this heat is transferred in the absence of any medium. The transfer of heat that takes place in this way without a medium is called radiation. And in the two examples above, heat reaches us mainly by radiations. As I tell, the sun is millions of kilometers away from us. There is no air between the sun and the earth, and the earth's atmosphere is only a thin layer of the air close to the earth. Then also we get the heat from the sun. This is one example. And the second example, if you keep your hands near by the bonfire without touching directly to the bonfire, without any medium also, we started feeling warmth because of the radiation. Students, we have studied that heat can be transferred through conduction, convection and radiation. So these are the three ways to transfer the heat. For conduction and convection, medium is required. In a solid substance, heat gets transferred and it is called as a conduction. Whereas in the liquids or in the gaseous substances, when the heat is transferred, is called as a convection. But when there is a no medium, it then also heat can be transferred, right? With the radiation it is possible. Transfer of heat by means of magnetic waves is called radiation. It does not require any solid or a liquid medium, and hence it is possible for the transfer of heat even in the vacuum where there is no air or any other medium. So this is used by the scientists for their various purposes. It is one of the invention of the scientists where they use the methods of heat transfer like a radiation. Students, do you know that all the living and a non-living thing objects contains a heat in them? So they radiate the heat from their body. So radiation of heat takes place from many objects in nature such as trees, mountains, stones and roads. And a camera has been developed which uses these radiations to make our surroundings visible at night. So there is one camera which is invented which captures the images of the heat which was passed or radiated by some of the objects. So student, this camera is used by the uh, police force or the armies for for the purpose of keeping a watch during the night time specifically. Why? Because during the night time enemy can enter in our territory. So to keep watch on the movements of the enemy during the night time, this infrared camera has been used. Here you can see the image of the object taken with the help of this infrared camera. Here we cannot get the clear picture of the any object, but we will get the such a image of that object. So when heat rays fall on an object, a part of the heat is observed by the object and a part of it is reflected. The ability of a substance to absorb heat radiation depends on its colors and also its intrinsic properties. Now what is intrinsic property, students? Intrinsic property means what? A property that an object or a thing has of itself. उसकी खुद की एक प्रॉपर्टी होती है. ओके, सो इट हैज़ इट्स ओन प्रॉपर्टी, दैट इज इंट्रिंसिक property which is independent of any other object or any other thing. So it means what, students? What we can understood from this, that all the objects or all the substances are able to observe the heat, but it depends on their color and their own properties. Students, do you know that various colors absorb the different amount of heat, and hence it is always suggested to use the light colors in the summer season. Do you know this? Here we will perform a small experiment to understand about it more clearly. You can take two glasses, you can wrap these two glasses with a white paper or with a black paper, or you can take two tin glasses and color one glass with a black paint, and then you can keep these both the glasses in the sunlight, and don't forget to fill these glasses with the water, and after 2 to 3 hours you can take out these glasses again and measure the temperature of the water with the help of a thermometer. Students, what we will observe here, the water which is kept inside the black tin box or the glass which is covered by black paper will have a more temperature as compared to the white or the plain tin. Why it will happen? Because of the property of absorption of a heat. Black color absorbs more heat than the white color or any light color, and hence we are not using a black or a dark color clothes in the summertime. We prefer white or a light colors in the summertime so that it will absorb a less heat. Students, now let's understand what is good conductor and a bad conductors of a heat. Students, we have studied that all the metals are at certain level they are conductors of a heat. Now what is this conductors of a heat? Students, have you ever think that why we are using some metals as for making utensils which we use for the cooking purpose, like pans or pots? Some vessels are made from the metals like steel, aluminium, copper, iron. Why? Because they can flow the heat. So what is a meaning of a good conductors? The substances or the solids which conduct heat easily. Conduct means which pass or allow heat to transfer easily are called good conductors of heat. For example, copper, iron, steel, and even aluminium. These are the good conductors of the heat. Whereas some substances does not allow or pass the heat easily. Such substances are called as a bad conductors of heat. Students, you might have observed that in some of the utensils like fry pans or the cooker, we have a handle which is made of a plastic, wooden, or sometimes ebonite. Why is it so? Because they are bad conductors of heat. You might have observed that though the cooker or the pan has become hot, the handle which is made of plastic or a wood is still cold than the pan. Why? Because they are bad conductors of the heat. To understand it, you can do one thing, students. Students, take a beaker or a glass, in that you can pour a hot water, and from your house only you can take some of the substances which are made from the wooden, like your pencil, eraser, then plastic scale, spoon, and even you can use some other objects which are made from the different materials. Put it in the hot water for some time. After a certain time, you can take out that all the substances, and you can try to touch those substances and observe whether the substances are hot, very hot, warm, or cool. Students, you will find that the substance like spoon which is made of steel will be very hot, and the substance if you have very insert in the glass which is made from a copper will also be very hot. But if you will have put a plastic scale or a wooden pencil, it will be cooler than the other substances. So from that what we can understand, that some substances are good conductors of heat while some substances are bad conductors of heat. So what we have understood from these students, that some substances are good conductors of heat while some are bad conductors of heat. Heat is easily conducted through a copper strip or a pot, but not through a plastic or wood. So students, you might have observed that we can hold a glass tumbler or a china cup full of hot tea easily in a hand, but not so a steel or a copper cup if the same tea is poured into them. Students, if your mummy will pour a hot milk or a tea for you in the steel glass or a cup, you will not able to hold it. But easily if you pour the same milk or a tea in the china cup or any glass tumbler, you can hold it easily. Why? Because the glass or a plastic or a china cup is a bad conductor of a heat, while the steel or a copper cup will be a good conductor of heat. So they will become easily hot. Students, now let's study expansion and contraction of solid substances due to the heat. Students, what is expansion and contraction? Do you know about it? When the substance is heated, they get expand. Expand means their size gets increased, and when the substance get warmer or cold, they get contract means their size gets decreased when they got cooler. This is called as a expansion and a contraction of the substances. Why does it happen, students? When any substance gets heat, it the molecules in that substance starts moving faster and their size gets increased, means they are expanding. And in contrast, when the substances start becoming warmer, the molecules of that substance moves slowly, and hence they gets contract, means their size gets decreased. Let us understand it by performing one small experiment. Here you can see we will study one experiment to understand more about expansion and contraction of a solid substance. For performing this experiment, we will require a metal ring, a metal ball, and a burner. Now, what we will do, we will take a metal ring and metal ball. Students, to take a metal ball, we have to take care that the size of the metal ball, it should be such a way that it will just pass through the ring. It should not be very small or very bigger than the ring. Heat the ball and check whether it is passes through the ring. Now let the ball cool down and check whether it passes through the ring. So students, what we will do, first try that whether the ball is passing through the ring when it is cooled. After that, let's give a heat to the ball. When the ball will start getting a heat, it will expand, and when you will try to pass the ball from the ring, it will not pass from that ball. Here you can see it in the picture. After heating, the ball is not able to pass from the ring, and before heating also it will pass, and after cooling also the ball will get pass from the ring. So what we have understood from this experiment, that metals expand on heating and contract on cooling. So the solid substances expands due to heat and come back to their original state or original size if heat is removed. If heat is removed means what, students? When that substance become cold again, it will come back to its original size. However, the extent to which different solids expand is different. Means what, students? That the different metals can be expanded in a different way. For example, the substance like a copper, as it is very good conductor of a heat, it will expand very quickly, and the expansion will be more if we compare to the other substance, and hence we said that the extent to which different solids expand is different. Students, do you know that why there is a gap at the joints of rails and cement concrete bridges? Because of the contraction and the expansion takes place in the rails. Students, just now I explained that the solids get expanded due to the heat, and especially the metals we all know that the rails are made from the metals. If there is a no gap between the joints of a rail tracks, the tracks would bend. What will happen, students? If there is a no gap, it will get expand due to the heat, and it will, as it does not have a proper space to expand, it will bend, and there can be a chances of gets accidents. To avoid this, space is kept between the rail tracks or the cement concrete bridges while constructing them. So when the heat is there, it will get expand and it will fill those gaps. Hello students, today we will start with a new topic, expansion and contraction of liquids due to heat. Already we have discussed how the expansion and contraction takes place in the solids due to the heat. So to understand how the expansion and contraction takes place in a liquid, we will study one experiment. For this, we will require various apparatus are as follows: 500 ml conical flask, 2-hole rubber stopper, glass tube, measuring ruler, thermometer, stand, wire gauze, burner and a graph paper. Students, here you can see all these apparatus. This flask is a conical flask. You can see how we have made a setup so that the liquid will get the heat. We can use a stand, conical flask and a burner, and we need to set a stopper in such a way that we can insert the glass tube and a thermometer inside. Now what we have to do, we need to fill the conical flask completely with the water and then insert the glass tube and thermometer in the 2 holes of the stopper and fit it to the conical flask. Students, here we have to take care that the glass tube and a thermometer has fit very properly. There should not be any gaps over them. The heat, after that, heat the water with the help of a ruler and then record the level of the water with the help of a ruler. In the glass tube, after every 2 degree Celsius rise. Students, as we are giving the heat, continuous heat, the temperature of the water will increase. When it will increase with a 2 degrees Celsius, like suppose if it is at the beginning, if it is 30 degrees Celsius, it will, when it will reach to the 32 degrees Celsius, we need to note down the level of a water in the glass tube. So we have to repeat all these readings near about 10 times and observe what happens after heating this heating stopped. Then we will note down all the changes in a graph paper. Students, what we can understand from this, when the heating is given, at that time the molecules in the liquid are moving faster, and because of that they takes a greater volume and they start expanding. So when a liquid is heated, the distances between its particles increase and its volume too increases. This is called the expansion of liquids. When its temperature falls, the liquid contracts. So students, what will happen, as the temperature is rising, the water level in the glass tube will also rise, and when we will stop giving a heat, as the temperature is decreasing, the water level will also start decreasing. So what we can understand from this, that due to the heat, expansion takes place into the liquid, and when we will stop giving the heat, the contraction takes place in the liquid. Next, we will study expansion and contraction of gases due to the heat. Students, how the expansion and contraction takes place in liquid and solids. Similarly, expansion and contraction takes place in gases as well. To understand it, we will study one experiment. For this, we will require 2 glass bottles, balloon and the hot water. Now, how we will perform this experiment? First, we need to fix the balloons on the mouth of the glass bottle. Hold this bottle in the hot water. Students, here you can see that in one bottle we have hold the bottle into the hot water. After certain time period, you will see that the balloon got air into it. Why it happens? Because of the heat, the air also started expanding. So what we can understand from this, that the volume of a glass increases on heating. This is called expansion of the gas. On the other hand, on the removing the heat, you can see the second picture. After removing the heat, the size of the balloon decreases. Why it happens? Because the volume of the gas decreases on the removing the heat. This is called contraction of the gas. Understand it more clearly. So what is expansion and contraction in a gas? Exactly, the gas is not in only volume of the gas is increasing. Why? Because the particles which are there in that gas are moving faster. So when the gas is heated, the molecules gain more energy and move faster and further apart, and they are moving further apart from each other, and hence the volume gets increases. And in the reverse order, how the contraction takes place? When the temperature is lowered, the molecules or the particles of the gas move slower and have less energy. They become closer together to each other, and hence their volume also decreases and the contraction takes place. Students, you might have seen that some people are carrying a bottle while traveling in which they contain a hot water, hot tea, or sometimes they are carrying a cold juice or a sharbat. Right? Now also many people are drinking hot water because of the diseases which are spreading nowadays. So we prefer to drink hot water. So instead of heating the water again and again, what we does? We makes a hot water and store it in one of the bottle which keep it hot for a longer time. Do you know which bottle we use for this purpose? Yes, we use thermos flask. Students, you must have seen a thermos flask. It keeps the water or a tea or a coffee hot for a longer time, as well as if we store a cold sharbat, it keeps a cold for a longer time. Students, do you know how it works? What is the structure of the thermos flask and who invented the thermos flask? We will study this now. This bottle is a double-walled flask and it consists of two glass tubes, one inside the other, with a gap between them sealed. Students, you might have seen that the size of the thermos flask is bigger, but inside it is smaller. Why is it so? Because it is a double-walled flask. It is consists of two glass tubes, one inside the other, and there is a gap provided in between them, and then it is sealed. The surface of both the tubes are made by a shiny silver coating. The air between the two tubes is removed to create a vacuum. There is no air in between that two tubes. A vacuum is created over there. There is a protective jar of metal or a plastic outside the tubes. You all know that there is a protective jar of a metal or a plastic outside of the tubes, which we can see. Nowadays it is available in the plastic also, or specially it is available in the steel. And for protection of the flask, pieces of a sponge or a rubber are fixed between the outer jar and the flask. Students, do you know why we are calling it as a thermos flask? Because the person who invented this thermos flask, his name was James Dewar, and then we started calling it as a thermos flask. He gave a name to it as a Dewar flask. See, this is the great scientist. His name is James Dewar and he was from the Scotland. He is a Scottish scientist. He made the thermos flask first time in the year 1892. That is why it is called as a Dewar flask. Even today, a Dewar flask is used for keeping a substance cold or a hot. Students, let's study what is the function of a thermos flask and how it works. Students, here you can observe the diagram of a thermos flask. This is the diagram of a thermos flask. As I explained, it is a double-walled flask. Here you can see there are two walls, silver surface of the glass, and inside we are keeping a hot or a cold liquid. After that, there are two walls, silver surface of the glass, and then a vacuum is also created. After that layer, a sponge or rubbers are kept so that it will get a protection, and at the end you can see a rubber support, and as well as there are some springs are also settled. So this is the structure of a thermos flask. Now what is the function of this thermos flask? Students, we all know that it keeps the substance hot or a cold for a longer time. So when a hot substance is placed in a thermos flask, the heat going out gets reflected due to the shining surface of the inner tube. Students, we have studied that the transfer of heat takes place through solids, liquids and gases also, right? With the help of a conduction, convection and a radiation method. So to avoid this transfer of heat, what is used? Here we use the shining surface so that the reflection will takes place of a heat, and hence heat is not radiated. As well as the vacuum is created over there, conduction and convection is not possible. Only radiation can be possible, which is also avoided by creating a shining surface so that it reflects back. Neither the conduction nor convection of the heat occurs because of the vacuum. As a result, heat is not transferred to the outer cooler region and is retained inside for a longer time. Still, a little heat is lost from around the lid and by a small amount of conduction through the glass. Therefore, the hot substance does not remain hot after certain hours. At the beginning, we can keep the hot substance for near about 2 to 3 hours, but nowadays due to the development in the technologies, we can keep it for more than 12 hours or 20 hours also.